I'm just a stupid old white man. But I want to ask Black Lives Matters people, or any of these people protesting for communism or whatever, what would they do as individuals to improve their life? And if some black people can become scientists and politicians and lawyers and engineers, great soccer players, why can't others? What would the people marching and protesting in Black Lives Matter protests, violent protests, what then would they do as an individual to improve their own life? If burning down America doesn't improve anyone's life, in fact it's probably going to end seeing that those people wiped out in the end, because in the end violent insurrection ends up being put down violently. It cannot go forever. One way or other, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, no matter who gets in, will put down the Black Lives Matter marchers down violently. This is what Biden's got planned as well. Because these people, the Black Lives Matter marchers, are being sucked in to their own destruction. It's all a game. They're just pawns. And feeder, whatever it's called, they're just pawns. These people don't understand what communism is. They've never read about communism. They think it's, you share all the wealth. Well, that's all very well, but first of all, you've got to come up with a system what makes wealth. Now, if they knew anything about the history of communism, and it's not very long history, it failed. Stalin tried it, and the people in Russia become impoverished, starved. Mao Zedong tried it. Chinese people, millions starved. 30 million people starved in China because of communism, because there was no incentive and no organisation to work. Besides, another thing about it, though, the difference between Chinese, at least the Chinese work together. And I doubt it, all those people, Black Lives marchers, would be working together in the fields like the grandfather or the great-great-grandfathers were when they were working as slaves. Because that is a type of work that will happen in their communist utopia. They end up being slaves of the state. That's how ironic it is. The Black Lives Matter march people are demanding they be put back in chains. This is why Biden has to be the most cunning or the dumbest presidential candidate we shall ever see. They can't get any worse than that, because that's what he stands for. Someone's going to have to do, if he stands for America, if he wins, he will put down, will he say, oh yes, can have a communist America? We're going to destroy the whole means of productivity. We're going to hand all the goods over to you people, just hand it out like that, without you doing anything other than demanding it. You don't have to work for anything. Everything just distributed. Well, you sit down and just everything's distributed to you. Is that how they imagine the communist life is? The communist life is being in chains and enslaved to the system. And that's what Joe Biden's offering. People to become slaves to the system. And that's what Black Lives marchers, whether they're doing matters marchers, or you want to call them, absolute fools, in other words, being sucked into becoming slaves of a system again. I mean, you can't write this stuff, and this is comedy, but it's not funny, but it's extremely funny as well. Depends how you see it. How ridiculously, this is the failing of the education system to explain to the people what communism actually does to people. It imprisons them. It makes them slaves of the state. That's what communism is. So the Black Lives Matter marchers are demanding to be put back in chains into slavery. What a thing to demand. We want slavery. Yes, we want slavery. Why don't you just say, we want slavery, because that's what communism is. It's not freedom. Communism is slavery.